Hello there, Battle Brothers, and welcome to yet another video, and welcome to yet another painting video. No, I'm not going to be painting in this video. However, I'm going to be sharing a few of my experiences as a beginner miniature painter. Oh yes, if you've been following my channel for quite some time, you might know, actually I'm grabbing something, that I only got into painting minis about 2 months ago, and I'm going to be sharing some pictures on the screen here of my creation so far. Not only have I been painting miniatures of Warhammer 40,000, but also Citadel, Balrog, and some of the Age of Sigmar. I don't read Age of Sigmar, but I like the minis. I've got some of the Goblin Riders, and I painted some of the Gold Soldiers, Warriors, that I got as a freebie. I'm learning to paint, and I also did Eidolon from D&D, the possessed statue. But of course, as everybody in the world who paints miniatures, I do have certain things I'm not sure about, and I'm sure 100% that these things are common with everybody. First and foremost, but that's just a matter of practice, and you might tell me if you have some tips. It's highlighting the edges on a mini, like on the edges of the armor with Space Marines. I bloody hate that part of painting. That's my least favorite part, even more than painting the eyes or whatever. I mean, it's something that I need to work on, something that I need to practice so that my edges are straight and even, and there isn't any bleeding, and it's just annoying. And you know, some edges are easier to highlight than others, especially those bloody annoying ones that are like in those very not easily like places that those that you can reach, that you know what I mean. But the other one is, and I have been dealing with that for quite some time now, is varnishing. Varnishing miniatures is done to protect your paint, your final result, and also to maybe add some more, well, a different finish to it, because it can influence the finished product, quote unquote, the final result. I'm sorry, it's very early in the morning, some of the words are slipping from my mind, but I'm not editing this video. I've never done that too much. My videos are just, you know, a guy talking to other guys, usually. And there's a woman here and there, but it's usually mostly men, let's be honest. So, but it's mainly to protect the paint, especially if you play a war game like Warhammer 40,000, which I don't play. I only paint to display. So theoretically, and I have asked some people and everybody gave me a different answer. Theoretically, if I only paint to display those minis in a glass cabinet, I don't have to varnish too much. Unless I have to, because I want to change the finish, the look, like I did with my custom of a Mythic Legion action figure, where I took a head sculpt of Arizag the Wizard, I painted it red and black to make it a red kind of demon-like guy, and I didn't like the finish because it was too glossy, and I didn't like it. It was too shiny, and I said to myself, yeah, I need to do something about that. So I sprayed Army Painter matte varnish over the entire head sculpt that I painted, and first and foremost, it protected the paint, fine, I can now touch it, but then of course it made the head sculpt more matte. It wasn't shiny anymore so much, and I like it, I love it so far. I'm looking at the figure right now, and it's one of my favorite figures because I kind of made it myself. So that's that, because as we all know, there are different kinds of varnishes. There's a matte varnish, there's a satin varnish, and gloss varnish. The satin is kind of in the middle. There's also different ways to apply varnish on your Mini. There's spray-on varnish, there's a brush-on varnish, and also an airbrush varnish, which I don't use. I don't use airbrush yet. So I tried that one. And then I tried to apply the same kind of matte spray-on varnish on one of my Blood Angels that I did. It was one of the first minis I painted, so it's very simplistic. There are no logos, no symbols painted on or transferred. It's just a red Space Marine with some black, and I'm calling it a Blood Angel. As easy as that. So I said to myself, yeah, so it's time for me to start thinking about varnishing. I want to ideally keep my figures protected, but I think that if I paint an expensive, or not expensive necessarily, an intricate miniature that I will spend a lot of time on, let's say, is my plan to learn to paint enough that within a year I'll be able to paint this Lionel Johnson, and it's going to be a lot of work. I don't want to ruin the final result. So, I don't know, if I paint it and it looks good, I don't want to paint it. So, yeah, it's one of the constant dilemmas that I have been having as far as painting goes. So I tried it on something that I don't really care about, this Space Marine. And I bought myself 2 kinds of brush-on varnishes, because when I applied the spray-on varnish on my Space Marine, I didn't like the final result. It was too matte. I think that there was even a hint of frosting. Frosting can happen when you, well, from what I have learned for multiple reasons, it's when the varnish, the spray-on varnish, creates this kind of too matte, sometimes dusty, snow-looking layer on your Mini. It wasn't brutal in my case, it wasn't that apparent, but I didn't like it. So I said to myself, I'm going to get myself a gloss brush-on varnish. I got that one, Vallejo. And at the same time, I got satin acrylic varnish by Vallejo as well. That should be like the one in the middle. I haven't tried that one yet. You let me know in the comments down below what your experiences with that are. And I said to myself, so I will use the gloss varnish on the Space Marine because I will not mind this Space Marine to be glossy. It will provide the Mini with a more metallic look. And him being in a power armor, I don't really mind. Of course, I avoided parts like this parchment here. I will take pictures. This camera's shite, so I'll take pictures. So I avoided the parchment part, obviously, and the holsters for the gun, so on and so forth. But otherwise, I painted the gloss varnish all over it. I already consider it a success that I managed to apply the entire, the varnish over the entire Mini evenly. So there are no pools where, because everything has pros and cons. The cons of spray-on varnish is that it can get frosted. So, as I said, multiple reasons. It could be too hot outside or too humid. You don't apply the varnish from enough distance, so on and so forth. You don't shake the spray enough before you apply it. And the brush-on varnish, it can pool on the Mini. You can apply it. You have to apply it evenly with your brush, and it can make bubbles. You have to be careful not to do it like that, like a maniac, so there are no bubbles, because those bubbles will then harden. Because it's like a nail polish, right? Like a see-through nail polish. It's a liquid that you mix with water 1-to-1, and then you apply it over the Mini, and it creates this layer that is basically protecting the paint. But if you do it in the wrong way, it can like create bubbles, and those bubbles will then harden and stay there. So there are no bubbles. It's applied evenly. I like it. I like it very much indeed. So, tell me. This is just a test. This Mini, for all I care, can be just thrown out of the window. These are my learning minis. So I'll post pictures. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about varnishing. Do I have to necessarily varnish if I only paint miniatures to be displayed in a glass cabinet? I don't really touch them too much. I definitely don't play. It's just display. And what kind of varnish do you use? Do you consider it necessary? I kind of like that, this shiny effect. And the more I look at it, the more I like it. This kind of a fake blood angel. So let me know in the comments down below what you think they'll be all. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, the Emperor.